Hello, my name is Rahul Khartode. My video topic is exception handling in Java. Firstly, I am defining the exception. Exception is a powerful mechanism to handle the abnormal termination of the program. For example, in the program there are 10 lines which has the statement 10 statement. If the line number 6 gets exception due to the some problem or logic, then from that the program will not run. So there is the exception. That means when we write the 10 line code or 10 statement, then only 5 statement is printed on the console, but from the 5 there is no output will be created on the console. So there is the exception. We can handle this exception by using some technique. The exception handling has a two types. First is exception. Firstly I am telling about hierarchy of exception classes. That is object. It has the subpoint that is throwable, and throwable has also two types, that is exception and errors. The exception has the also types. First is the class not found exception. Second is the IO exception. Third is the no such a method exception. Fourth is the SQL exception. Fifth is the remote exception. Sixth is the interrupted exception. All these errors are also called as a compile time exception or check time exception. And seventh is the runtime exception. In the runtime exception, there are multiple exception. For example, arithmetic exception. Second is the class cast exception. Third is the null pointer exception. Fourth is the illegal argument exception. Fifth is the index out of exception. And there is the also errors in the throwable subpoint. Error means it has the three types. First is the assertion error, and second is the virtual machine. Third is the linkage error. And this type of hierarchy is in the exception classes. I am telling about the exception types. There are three types of exception. First is the checked exception. Second is the unchecked exception. And third is the error. The checked exception has also called as the compile time exception, and unchecked exception has also called as the runtime exception. The checked exception is occurred at the program. Checked exception can be handled by the programmer by using the appropriate logic or something. We can use this exception by using a try and catch block. For example, we created the class and we write the main method in that is public static void main, and we have to write some methods, but this method are risky. Then we write the try block firstly, and then write the whatever we want to write. For example, we created the class and write the main method. Again we write the try block and we write the file input stream. F is equal to new file input stream, and we write the empty string, and we completed that try block, and again we write the catch block for it. This is the pair of the exception. When we write the try, then we have to write the catch block. So we write the catch, and we in the parenthesis bracket we write the exception, that, and we write the variable that is e. That means exception e, and in that we in the curly bracket we write sysout e. That means reference variable. When and we complete the curly bracket, when we have to get the exception in the we have what we object we have created, that is f is or file input stream, is handled by the catch block. Second is the unchecked exception. It occurs due to the faulty logic of the developer or programmer. For example, we create the new class, and we in the main method we write the string name, and string name is equal to null and semicolon, and we try to write or to find the length of that string name, and we write the statement that is system.out.println and name.length. Name is the reference variable, and we find the length of that variable, but this reference variable does not have any string, so the null string has no length, so there will be a faulty logic, so there will be get the unchecked exception, and there will be show error or exception. So we can handle it by using the try and catch block. If we write the try block to the sysout statement and catch something after that, then there will be no exception throws. Second example of unchecked exception is if if we created the new class and we write the main method in that, and we declared a variable that is int a, int b, and int c. A is initialized by 10 and b is initialized by 0, and c is also 0, and we write the statement or operation that is c is equal to a divided by b, then the b is 0. So this logic is also faulty, so there will be exception occurred, that is arithmetic exception, because the divide by 0 is not possible in the arithmetic, so there will be a arithmetic exception, that can be also achieved or handled by using the try catch method. Whenever there is an exception occurred, then this method or this method create the objects of that exception, and store three types. That is, first is the class name, second is the exceptions description, and the exception trace. That means when we get the exception, then firstly it shows the which class has the exception occurred. It shows the class name, and second is the description. What is actually description? What is the exception? That means arithmetic exception or null point exception. It shows the description of the exception. And third is the stack trace. The stack trace is used to find the which line or which track trace traces the actual location where the exception is occurred. We can handle the exception by using 5 keywords. That is, first is the try keyword, second is the catch keyword, third is the finally, fourth is the throw, and fifth is the throws. There are also the second types of exception, that is error. Error is irrecoverable, because when the error gets to the programmer, that means the the system is out of memory or virtual information. That's all about exception. Thank you.